So, you just started using LinkedIn Premium. Now what? Well, on your premium company page, you noticed around 7.5 times more page engagement and 5 times more page views. Well done. And now, new clients are messaging you. All because you're using LinkedIn Premium, which helps you get the business growth you want. Think big, small business. Think big. Start your free trial at linkedin.com/premium small business. That's linkedin.com/premium small business.
The new McCrispy Strip is here. Dip approved by ketchup, tangy barbecue, honey mustard, Sprite, McFlurry, Big Mac sauce, double dipped in buffalo and ranch, more ranch, and creamy chili McCrispy Strip Dip. Now at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
When we originally went, he said, how much can you afford? I said, no more than $1,700 a month. Now, this is before I saw the property. I saw the property. There's many things that need to be done. There's absolutely no way I'm going to pay $1,700.
Did you say that to him?
We didn't really discuss the amount of money.
Okay, but when you move in, what's your understanding of what rent is?
This is the plaintiff, Mary Batternick. She says she lived in the defendant's rental property and made numerous improvements the defendant claimed he would reimburse her for, but didn't. She eventually moved out because the defendant accused her of stealing. Bottom line, she wants the money she was promised, is suing for the $4,009.21 she's owed, and expects the judge to award it to her today. This is the defendant, James Batternick. He says the plaintiff is family, and he did her and her husband a big favor by letting them live in his house rent-free. Now she's suing him here in court? Please. In fact, if you wanted to get technical, the plaintiff owes him $4,000 in back rent. But he refuses to sue family in court. He's just written it off as one of those things. And so should the plaintiff. He's accused of failing a family member.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
Welcome,
Mary Batternick?
Yes.
And Benjamin Batternick, who you have power of attorney for, you are suing James Batternick for $4,009.21 that you say he owes you for work that you did in a place he owns. Tell me what's going on.
Well, last year in July, we got a notice from a home we were renting that they were going to be selling it. We have 3 dogs, and it's very difficult to find a rental home with that many pets. So Jim is my husband's uncle, and
Why isn't your husband here, his nephew?
He's in Florida, and the original suit was just me and Jim. I didn't really want to involve Ben because I didn't know how it was going to turn out.
Okay, go ahead.
So I told my husband, I said, call Uncle Jimmy, see what he's got going on. He owns several properties. So we did, and everything was fine. He said, yeah, I have some property. We made arrangements to come up and see it. It was actually one that he was living in. So we went, we saw it, needed a lot of work, but it's a great house. It has potential.
So did you move into the house he was living in?
He had a room there, yes.
So
and we allowed him to keep the room because he traveled with business.
You allowed him to keep the room. He owns it. What do you mean?
Yes. Well, we moved in with the intentions of renting it, and he also mentioned he was looking to sell it. So that was in the back of our minds.
So you moved in, and how much were you supposed to be paying him rent?
When we originally went, he said, how much can you afford? I said, no more than $1,700 a month. Now, this is before I saw the property. I saw the property. There's many things that need to be done. There's absolutely no way I'm going to pay $1,700.
Did you say that to him?
We didn't really discuss the amount of money.
Okay, but when you move in, what's your understanding of what rent is? Like, people don't move in without an understanding.
When we made the original arrangement, we were going to move in. We were going to do the improvements. I was going to help him get rid of some tenants that were there living in the efficiency. And we would discuss the actual rent amount.
So according to you, your rent is zero until further discussion?
Because we were going to be doing the work on the home.
And according to you, was there rent zero?
The rent was always understood to be $1,700. and they've never actually paid any rent. They just paid a $1,700 move-in first month. Other than that, no rent was ever paid.
Okay, so there was $1,700 paid originally?
Yes, to move in. I would
that
not let
strikes
them...
me as people who understand they're paying $1,700 a month. All right, so there's $1,700 paid originally, and then what?
Well, it became, well, first of all, we're family, and I think there's a lot more tolerance and leniency that one would do with family. And it became known to me that my nephew was unemployed and had some, hard times, and I'm understanding of that. And it was presented to me after they moved in and after we agreed to the $1,700. I'm not the type of person that would throw out family because of that situation. I'm understanding. They presented to me the fact that they had financial difficulties and they could not afford the $1,700, and they basically gave me an ultimatum that they were only going to pay $1,000. It put me in a very awkward situation because this is family, and economic times are difficult, and I have helped other families.
Did they pay the $1,000?
They never paid.
They never paid another penny.
Never paid another penny.
Okay, so how long did they live there?
I believe on 6 February.
And they moved in when?
The end of August, August 31st.
All right. Now, what is your understanding of your obligation when you're living there from August 31st through February 6th to pay rent? What was they're giving you? He's giving you a place to live, and you're giving him what?
The work.
Okay. Then why are you here suing for the amount of money that you feel the work is worth when you know you didn't pay rent?
Well, I'm not suing for labor. I'm suing for the materials. I'm suing for the ceiling fans that he asked me to buy and said he would pay for. I'm suing for security deposits that I gave other tenants of his. I helped do some managing of another property.
So what work did you do there?
We redid the living room, we redid the floors, we did faux finish on the ceiling, we cleaned it, we removed the furniture. It was a mess. It's still a mess. It's
So you didn't finish cleaning it up?
No.
Okay, so
We
you
cleaned
put in
it
new
enough
floors.
so that we could live in it and be
You put it. Tell me
somewhat
exactly
comfortable.
what you did, because here's what you're suing for. You want 5 ceiling fans that you paid for, correct?
that he asked us to buy, and I have text messages stating he would pay us for them.
Okay, may I see those text messages? You want $479 in paint and brushes.
It's also cleaning supplies, stuff that we needed. My husband it's a very old house.
Did you agree to pay back the ceiling fan cost?
It was presented to me that Ben worked at a place where they would have factory rejects, and he was able to get them at either no cost or very little cost, and that they agreed to furnish them and
There's
not
no
to worry
price
about
here. Just a second. There's no price here on the ceiling fans. It's completely missing a price.
The other sheet has what we paid, and the text message I'm going to show you has the price.
There is nothing connecting these two items. Let me see the text. Have you talked to your nephew?
Not lately. There's been some disagreements and some unacceptable verbiage.
So this basically destroyed your relationship with your nephew?
Well, I believe time is a healer of all things, and I think everybody needs to cool down. And in a year or two, we could probably say, oh, well, we really kind of went off on the deep end and did some things that weren't socially acceptable. And I think, family would stick together. That's my understanding.
Well, I hope you're right. Did you find that text? Because I have to kind of move on here.
I'm sorry.
That's all
I
right.
do have it. It's just.
Okay, let's move on.
Sorry.
According to you, you also want $119.95 for floor sanding. What's that about? Did you rent equipment?
We rented floor sanders.
Okay. And then you want half of the electrician bill. Why half? Like, what's going on with that?
Well, we talked about the can lighting, and
Did he agree to pay half that
Yes,
bill?
he agreed to pay
So
$500.
you're also suing for the security deposit for ex-tenants. Tell me about that.
he had another property in Long Beach, and I did the paperwork and gave them a 60-day notice, did the walkout with them, and gave them a check because he was out of town on work. And he was supposed to pay me back the $393.
Mary is very bullheaded and does what she wants to do, and she takes charge, which quite often is a very good attribute for one to have. But when they do that without getting concurrence of somebody else's house, they're exceeding their authority, and she has unilaterally taken upon herself to do all these things without checking with me.
But you're living there, so you see that they're being done,
Well,
right?
I've been on travel quite a bit, and with strained relationships, I've actually left the home to avoid conflict, and I moved into a hotel for a couple of weeks just to avoid, because I knew they were leaving, and I didn't want it to escalate, and so I just left the premise so they could cool down, and it would be over.
Okay. All right. So that's your global rebuttal.
Yes.
As far as the floor sanding, the electrician bill, the improvements to the place,
Yes.
What is your rebuttal?
They took it upon themselves to do certain things. They said, you will be happy with what we're doing.
But what was the idea, that they were going to do that in lieu of the rent?
They weren't paying rent, and we were going to get together, hopefully at the end of every month, and go through these things. They didn't provide any receipts until they were ready to move out.
What was the idea? At the end of the month, let's say things worked the way they should have. At the end of the month, what would happen? You would see if they did $1,700 worth of work?
Or I would deduct that. If I reviewed what they did and I agreed with it, I would deduct that from the rent, and then they would make the balance of the rent payment.
Okay, all right. So let's discuss the ex-tenant's security deposit. Talk to me about that.
The house I have is a large house, and we have maids' quarters, and I have some other relatives that are visiting or staying with me as well. Mary and Ben decided they did not want anybody else in the house. I would be permitted to stay there, even though I own the house, but they didn't want other people in the house. And I'm like, well, what are you proposing? And they said, I'll take care of it. I'll give them a termination. I'll force them to move out and basically do an eviction.
Were those people relatives?
Some are family members of a domestic partner.
Okay, were these people paying rent?
Yes.
So why? But did you want them to leave? They're paying you rent, right?
Yes.
Okay, so why would you want them to leave?
Well, the long-term plan, Ben and Mary indicated they would be interested in buying the house from me.
Ah.
And with that long-term plan, these were milestones to get to that long-term plan. Now, this is family, so we didn't methodically...
There's no contract.
No contract. It's all verbal understanding. And if it fell through, it was not, from my perspective, it was not a problem. We're family. The short-term goals, everybody having a place to live, everybody having food to eat, everybody being happy was being...
How'd that work out?
Well, Mary moved out. Family living with family sometimes causes issues. They decided to move out on their own.
I'm just curious, Ms. Batternick, how it is that you feel that based on $8,500 in rent that you never paid, he has to still pay you $4,009.21.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, you have a nephew. Nephew totally disrespects you, even with money. Is it appropriate to end the relationship?
Well, it depends.
Would you ever end the relationship over somebody who just doesn't respect you? And it's a relative.
Absolutely, because business is business.
Fair enough. But what about respect? Just if it's an issue of respect, would you ever end it if he just doesn't respect you?
I think I'd give him the chance, but there would be tough love involved where...
Would there be a point where you would cut him off?
Absolutely.
Interesting.
I agree also. I would end the relationship if it was a excellent amount of respect.
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
I did the math, and you could tell me till the cows come home that that was before I saw the place that I agreed to exactly $1,700 without I mean, you see the place, and if $1,700 wasn't going to cut it, something else had to come up, and according to you, well, nothing came up. We just lived there, September, October, November, December, January, February. Everybody else has to pay rent, and you didn't. So if he's allowing it to happen and you're doing it, why isn't this instead of rent? Why would you be entitled to a penny? And you come in here, and this is family who this is happening with. I know why your husband isn't here. He shouldn't be here, and neither should you. My verdict in this case is for the defendant.
So the defendant prevails in this case. The plaintiff, Mary Batternick, has just come out of the courtroom. You're smiling, but are you really happy?
I'm stunned
Why?
because I have the text messages, but I guess she didn't want to see them. Or
No,
he's
she couldn't
agreeing.
wait forever for you
Yeah.
to get it up. And that wasn't the
couldn't.
only issue here. The real issue is you didn't pay any rent for 6 months.
No, we
And you're
didn't.
suing him for $4,000. The judge said doesn't make sense and really kicked you out of the courtroom.
I don't feel she kicked me
Well,
out,
yeah,
but
you were
yeah.
ejected, let's face it.
Okay.
Thank you very much. You must sign
Thank
some
you.
documents, please. Now, here comes the defendant. You're a really family-minded individual, no question about that. How do you feel about the outcome here?
Well, I think it's a little unfortunate that we had a disagreement.
No question.
And communications are definitely 90% of the problems in the world, and
Yep.
and we're all people that have communication problems. I think through the court we were able to do that communication.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you.
very
Thank
much.
you very much.
Harvey?
You know, Doug, I got to say, this is common sense. The plaintiff paid no rent, so the labor and materials, their contribution, plaintiff doesn't get the money. It makes no sense. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks, or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Visit USAA.com/bundle.
Bundle savings are off total premium, not available in all states or in all situations. To qualify, auto policy must be active prior to property policy issue, subject to change. Restrictions apply. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place. For changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This is the plaintiff, Sherwin Morgan. He says the defendant made a deal to sell herbal tea through his Facebook group of 45,000 followers and promised him an $885 profit on a $1,000 investment. Needless to say, the defendant scammed him, didn't do what he promised, and he's here seeking the return of his hard-earned $1,000 investment. That's why he's suing today. This is the defendant, Ryan Bakis. He says the plaintiff did make an investment in his online business and the product was selling well. But the plaintiff got impatient, demanded all his money back and his profit, and things just don't work that way. To date, he's paid the plaintiff $1,000. The product is still selling, and he's just going to have to wait until he collects the money from the sales. He's accused of ripping off an investor.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant made a deal to sell herbal tea through the plaintiff's Facebook page and promised him a cut, which he didn't get. The defendant says the plaintiff is jumping the gun. It's the case of you T-boned me, bro.
Thank you, Douglas. Sherwin Morgan?
Yes.
You are suing Ryan Bakis
Yes.
for $1,000, $885 profit that you were expecting from tea sales, and $115 for your time being wasted. Tell me what's going on.
Approximately March 6th, I invested in Ryan to sell some herbal teas.
How did you know him?
Through a mutual friend.
Okay, and
And-
what does he do that you were investing in?
Herbal teas. He sells herbal teas on Facebook using PayPal account. So I invested in him. I invested $1,000, and we agreed that within 3 to 4 weeks, there will be a turn. Like I'll get a profit of $885.
Okay, so he needed your $1,000, and he was going to double it in 3 weeks?
Yeah, because we purchased wholesale herbal teas.
Right.
Online. So he was gonna bag it out, and then he was gonna sell it to his Facebook customers.
And he has a following on Facebook?
45,000 people.
45,000 followers.
Yes.
Okay, what kind of site do you have that you have 45,000 followers?
My personal Facebook page, it has about 6,500 followers, but I do have a group that has over 45,000. I think it's breaching about 50,000 now, and it deals with someone named Dr. We follow his methodologies.
Wait, do you have it, or does that person have 50,000 followers?
I created the group for that particular study.
So now, according to you, he has an agreement with you that if you loan him $1,000, he will virtually double your money in 3 to 4 weeks.
Yes.
Okay, and do you have that agreement in writing?
Yes, I have the PayPal agreement when I send the money.
Okay, now according to you, did you agree to do that in 3 to 4 weeks?
I did not.
Okay, tell me your version of what the agreement was.
Well, pretty much we had agreed that I would pay him back in 3 increments. The total being $50, and there was no set time stipulation. Mr. Morgan feels that he can put a legally binding contract
Here's
into
what
the
I don't
memo
understand.
section.
You were guaranteeing him the profit? What if the tea didn't sell?
Well, I do have other products that do sell as well. And so from those products, I would also still give him the money.
Okay, but then it's just loan sharking for somebody to loan you $1,000 and you're going to pay them $1,800 in X amount of time. I mean, so your deal with him is he'll invest $1,000, and whether or not the product he invested in makes money, you're still going to pay him. But when you feel like it, not when the product makes money. So what if you never felt like paying him?
No, I didn't ever say when I felt like it.
Well,
I said
then
as
what was the
soon as-
time limit if it wasn't the 3 or 4 weeks?
Well, initially before he had texted me.
See, here's the reason I ask that is because typically, if someone's investing in a product, they need to wait until you make the profit to get paid the profit. Okay, so that's the answer. You get paid when it profits. Or if someone loans you money, they need to wait until the deadline for repayment comes. That's your answer. It's whatever deadline was agreed upon beforehand. You have this bizarre arrangement, according to you, where whether or not the item made a profit, he'd still make a profit.
Well, I did have other products, and I did send them monthly transaction from, I believe, December 2015 to February, showing that I had a stable pattern of sales, and that pretty much assured him that I'd be able to pay him back. When I told him that I can pay him through the other products that I have, he got really angry about it. He had pretty much said that by him putting that in there.
He put a note to you in the PayPal deposit. He said, by you receiving $1,000 from me for a business investment, you agree to pay back $1,885.40. Could you be more precise? Between 3 to 4 weeks from this date. When does that turn just into loan sharking? Because you can't charge that kind of interest on a loan. What's the risk for you? See, a business investment means that there's risk involved. That's why you get to make so much money if the risk pays off. But otherwise, how is this any different from loan sharking? I loan you $1,000, you pay me back $2,000 in 3 weeks. That's not legal.
So can somebody charge, literally 90% interest for a loan that's, say, a month?
You can, but I don't think that's really what it should be about. I think it's about getting your money back and teaching them the lesson of being respectful.
Fair enough. 90% interest legal? Can you do that?
No, I don't think it's legal. I don't think you can do that.
I'm going to have an answer to that going inside the courtroom.
So according to you, you never agreed to 3 or 4. That's just something he threw in.
Yeah, he just kind of slipped it in there.
Did you slip it in there?
No, I didn't slip it in there. He actually called me after I sent the money. Minutes afterwards, he said he shouldn't have put that in the notes. He said he shouldn't have done that. And he agreed to it. That's what he said.
So according to you, he agrees to it verbally afterwards?
Yes, he called.
Okay, but he didn't agree to it verbally before.
Yes, he did agree to it verbally before. Before he told me that the product sells within a day. If we were to purchase, I took the risk and purchased all the items. I gave him the money to purchase.
Why did you write? Because this is what worries me about your complaint. You know, it makes me think that maybe it wasn't agreed upon before. I sent the defendant $1,000 through PayPal, and I put in a stipulation in the notes section that he was to return the $1,000 plus give me $885 profit within 3 weeks. The plaintiff accepted the money, so he also accepted the terms I wrote down. I mean, that makes it sound like you kind of snuck it in.
We spoke about it afterwards. I asked him if he contacted me and told me I shouldn't have put it in there because we had an agreement already. He said I didn't need to put it there. But I said I put it there for my safety, you know, for my purpose. And he said, okay. And after that, we had text communication where it is he told me he want to try other products as well.
Do you understand what loan sharking is, though?
Yes.
Right. If I say to Doug, I'm going to loan you $1,000, and you are most definitely going to give me back $1,800 in 3 weeks, that's a usurious loan.
We were investing in a product.
No.
Okay.
Investment means you have a risk. That is why you get to have the reward. because you have a risk. You are literally arguing to me that you had no risk involved, that you were guaranteed 100% on your money, guaranteed, and he must pay it. That's what you're arguing to me, and that is loan sharking. That is a usurious loan. How much have you repaid?
To date, I've repaid Mr. Morgan $1,000.
Is that accurate or no?
I think he paid $850.
Do you have proof of what you paid? You
Yes,
paid
I
it
have
through
all the
PayPal,
proof.
right?
Yes, and I have all the proof.
Let me see it.
It would more precisely be $950 because he had made a complaint on the ebook and the body butter that he purchased from me. And he said...
What kind of body butter?
It was cannabis body butter.
Cannabis body butter.
Yes.
Okay. The things I don't know. All right. Yeah, but you returned his money for that. That's your business between him and you and your order. That doesn't have anything to do with this other thing. But according to this, he's paid you $950. Does that sound accurate?
Yes, that sounds accurate.
Since then, since all of this back and forth, have you been able to sell all the tea?
I'm now unable to sell on the PayPal account because his credit card company commenced a chargeback of $1,000, and it sent my PayPal account into the negatives. It's pretty much rendered useless for up to 75 days.
That's not true.
I do have proof of this.
Yeah, let me see your proof. So you still can't use your PayPal?
I can't.
PayPal closed that account. PayPal closed that.
Prove that to me.
Hold on.
When did PayPal close it? Because I am looking at
they close
his
it
update
automatically
from today that says that it's still being reviewed by them. So tell me when they closed it.
Okay.
So on March 22nd, you tried to dispute $1,000. And then on April 3rd, you tried to dispute $885.40?
Yes, that's the profit that I didn't dispute it. I sent him a request for the profit that he agreed to generate, and he canceled it as well.
We're done. We're done. If this in fact is your version, and you do not relent on it, that you're supposed to give him $1,000 and he's supposed to give you $1,885 within 3 to 4 weeks, then that is usury. And it is illegal, and you cannot collect the interest on a usurious loan. So I'm ordering you to repay the rest of the $1,000, and that's it, which is $50 additional verdict for the plaintiff. That's my judgment. That's it. Investments are different. You can make $1,800 on an investment, but not when you are definitely going to get it, regardless of whether there's profit or no profit. That is just loan sharking.
So the plaintiff, Mr. Morgan's on his way out of the courtroom. You do not get the profit. The judge says you're a loan shark. Did you realize that?
I won't say I'm a loan shark. I make an investment.
No, you didn't. You were a loan shark.
No, I made an investment.
No, you were.
I have the product. He has the product.
In the eyes of the law, sir, you are guilty of loan sharking. You're lucky you'd be charged for it, you know.
Okay.
Okay? That's the way it is.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
You must sign some documents with our bailiff. He's right out there. And here comes the defendant now, Mr. Bakis. You satisfied with the outcome of this case? What do you think of it?
Yeah, I think justice pretty much served its course.
You learn anything from this?
Yeah, just to be a little bit more cautious in the future.
In where you get your money and how you get it, right?
Of course, yes.
Very good. Okay, you learned a good lesson. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Harvey, what do you think?
Well, obviously, this is called usury. If you have, in many states, it's only 10% you can charge if it's a personal thing. And if you charge more than 10%, the judge isn't going to whittle it down to 10. You get no interest at all. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
This is the plaintiff, Bennett Liss. He says he purchased a 1968 VW van from a private party, and it came with a warranty from the defendant. When the van broke down, however, the defendant did not honor the warranty, and now he has to spend $4,600 on a new engine. The defendant's taking advantage of him. What he's doing isn't fair, and he's here in the name of justice, suing for all the money it's going to cost him for a brand new motor. This is the defendant, Larry Zide. He says he tried to help the plaintiff out because the guy was living in the old VW van, and he attempted to fix the engine even though he had no obligation to. He never even asked the plaintiff for a penny because he was trying to be a good Samaritan. And now look what that's gotten him, a lawsuit. He's accused of being a nice guy who finishes last.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff bought a 68 VW van from a guy. The defendant had given him a warranty, but the defendant won't pay even though the engine is blown. The defendant says he tried to help the guy and he owes him nothing. It's the case of don't bug me.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Bennett Liss, you are suing Larry Zide and Agora Lube and Smog Incorporated, correct? For $4,600, the amount that you say it's going to cost you to replace an engine that, according to you, they were supposed to have replaced for you correctly. Tell me what happened.
Purchased a car from a private party that had an engine.
What kind of car?
A Volkswagen VW Classic 1968 van.
Oh, geez. Chalk Rider van.
Chalk Rider.
Tell me about that one. Do you have a picture?
Madeline, do you have a picture of the van? This is my daughter, Madeline. The van was bought for her. She will get the picture of the van.
So those are the ones that had like the panel on the sides that are actually chalkboard?
Yeah, and you can write on
So
them.
you can write on them, you can write whatever you want on them, and kind of pretty cool.
My daughter wrote, honk if you're happy, and I got 30 honks a day.
That's awesome. Who was driving it? You were driving it or she was?
I was. She's not old enough to drive yet.
Oh, okay. All right, so
When I could drive it.
When you purchased it when?
Purchased it in late September.
2015.
2015.
All right, and you paid $3,900 for it, correct?
Right.
The person you purchased it from, do you have an affidavit or anything from them?
I don't. No.
Okay. And that person told you that the engine had what?
Just been newly rebuilt.
Rebuilt.
Within the last 6 months, that it had a year warranty, and
Did
that it
she
had
give
been
you the
rebuilt.
warranty?
She gave me some receipts showing that they paid.
May I see the receipts?
I don't have those on me.
You don't have the
those.
warranty on you that you're suing on?
I have a warranty from Larry Zide. Yes.
Okay. Do you have the original warranty?
I do not.
Okay. So what happens? You buy the van, and what's the problem?
White smoke started coming out of the tailpipe.
How soon after you bought it?
About a week after I bought it.
So did you first go back to the person you bought it from and say, hey, what gives?
Yeah, they said go back to Larry Zide. He's the one who warranted the van.
So you go to Larry Zide, and what does he say?
He says the kid blew the warranty. That's the first thing he said. That's the first thing Larry said.
And the kid, he's referring to the son of the prior owner.
Right.
Okay. And tell me about it. Does he explain how?
Yeah, he said he revved up the engine too much.
Okay. And then what happens?
And then I said, well, that's not what the kid says. And Larry says, okay, bring it in, we'll honor the warranty.
How long after the first time you met him did he say that?
It was within a few days.
Okay, so you bring it in and what happens?
It was there for 5 months.
Why 5 months?
5 months.
Why 5 months?
Well, that's my question.
What were you
exactly.
getting as an answer when you would say, why 5 months?
We're working on it. We're working on it. I went in, the engine was in pieces in a box. I brought in a mechanic of my own. He talked to Larry's mechanic. The guy said, we don't really know how to do these engines. We never should have taken it on in the first place. I have pictures of the engine in the box. I have pictures of the van up on the rack. So 3 times, Larry said, it's ready. And I went and got it. Within 5 miles, it completely fell apart. Had to be towed back to his shop 3 times.
That's during the 5 months?
Yes, during the 5 months. Finally, okay. I said, Larry, this isn't fair. This isn't right. You need to buy me a new engine. He said, we will. We'll buy you a new engine. I have that on text.
Okay.
Okay.
And then what happens?
And then he didn't buy me a new engine.
Mr. Zide, how are you?
All right. How you doing?
Good. What's going on?
I got no idea. But I have the warranty that he's talking about and the work that was done in the car. And when he brought the car into me, I said there was no warranty. The engine was blown. It's got bad oil gaskets.
Right, but then you act like there's a warranty, don't you?
No, I told him up front there was no warranty on that car.
And then when he comes back and he tells you that the kid denies having done what you claim he did.
So did the mother.
Right, but everybody denies it, so you have no proof of it, and then you honor the warranty.
I've got a repair bill they did for her afterwards, which I charged her $173 to fix the blown clutch because he was revving it up to shift. And that's how he blew the engine, and they paid this. This is after, why was under warranty? They paid this.
Okay,
and then
but
they did
you can
again.
have to pay, you can have a car under warranty, and then the item is exempted from the warranty, but the warranty isn't invalidated. You have to be able to prove to me that there's no warranty. What proof do you have? Show me your proof that the warranty was voided.
It says right in the bottom, in this paragraph there.
Yeah.
So 4,000 miles or 90 days.
Right, and?
That's the warranty.
I'm sorry, that's for this job. Where's your warranty for the engine?
This is
Are you saying that it was out of warranty when he brought it to you? Because that's a new one on me. You have never said that.
I never said that. I said
so
no.
you're not saying it was time-wise out of warranty?
Yes, time-wise it was out of warranty, and I voided it when they brought it in the second time.
No. Those are two separate things. Slow your roll.
I'm just going to go to one person. Would you buy a 68 VW van for any reason?
I definitely think I would. I mean, it's an old van. If it's in good shape, I don't see why not.
Older, twice as old as you. Okay, going inside the courtroom.
Time-wise, it's out of warranty.
Yes.
Okay. When did you replace the engine for the last lady?
2014, isn't it?
When did she say the engine had been replaced?
It was early 2015. She said it had
How long
a
was the
year
warranty for?
a year warranty or 12,000 miles. It had only driven it 50 miles since then.
That's not what the paperwork he's handing me says.
I've never seen the paperwork.
I know, but your entire case depends on a warranty you need to prove. How do you not have the warranty here?
I have a text from Larry saying it's under warranty.
Okay, give me his text, because the piece of paper he's giving me, and you know, I don't know whether this is just like spit out from a computer. He could have manufactured it 2 seconds ago, or it could be the original one that he's spitting out, because you don't have anything from the last lady, which is kind of critical to your case. Why do you come into court to sue on a warranty empty-handed? Is it that the lady you bought the car from didn't have it?
She couldn't find her paperwork, but I got a re-warranty from Larry.
What is this?
That's a text.
This is just a piece of paper with writing on it. Can I see
have it on my phone?
Yeah, turn on your phone and let me see it on your phone, please.
All right.
Mr. Zide, I have a question for you.
Yes.
In not one place in your answer do you ever say that it is out of warranty for time. The first time you've ever said that is this instant, handing me this piece of paper that does not have the prior owner's signature on it. Why is it, if your defense is the 90 days had passed, that this never comes out of your mouth?
I don't remember if I said that or not.
Well, I'm a little suspicious about the time, particularly in light of the fact that there are apparently texts where you say, not that the warranty is 90 days and 4,000, but instead, here's a text from him to you with the warranty on the engine. It has a minimum of 1 year. So you're telling him in a text that the warranty is 12 months.
Because
you were always acting at every point in time like you were going to fix a guy's engine.
Yes, I was.
And you kept it for 5 months. Doesn't he have?
I kept it. This has been going on for a long time. I mean, and we were trying to fix the engine, which is an air-cooled motor, which once it's overheated, you've got seals that cannot be fixed. We were trying like hell to get it to go back together so we could drive the car. When he brought that thing in there, we told him, why would you buy this thing without having it checked? It is not, there's no warranty with this car.
Why not?
Because it wasn't his car. They had a warranty, they blew it. And I told him that when they brought it in the last time.
And then what did you do?
So I said, he was living in the car. He asked me, we tried to help him.
He was living in the car?
Yeah.
Were you living in the car?
I was not living in the car.
Did he think you were living in the car?
He may have thought, I don't know if he thought.
He told us he was living in the car.
Huh?
He told us he was living in the car, but it's irrelevant.
Okay.
We were trying to help him.
I couldn't live in the car. It didn't work.
To fix the...
Actually, that's the only thing you could do in it. Go ahead.
To try to fix it for him, and it was no avail. Every time
I'm sorry, but see, you don't act like somebody who doesn't think he has to honor a warranty. Okay? You're not a good Samaritan trying to fix a car for free. You're a person who's been threatened with action by two people who say to you, listen, you have zero evidence to deny this warranty, so you have to honor the warranty. And you're acting like the warranty is fit and fiddle. You've handed me a document that I find very suspicious, that all of a sudden says for the first time that the warranty was a 90-day warranty that you gave this lady. By the way, it's not signed by the lady. It's not signed by the prior owner, okay? This is just a piece of paper that came out of a computer. And you never once, in defending this lawsuit, have ever said, hey, the 90 days passed, that warranty was only until early 2015, so he's coming. And then you never act like that's the problem. So there's even if you don't find an original warranty, when you take the car in, you create a second contract with the man. He's giving up something, and you're giving up something. He's giving up his van and the use of it for the next 5 months. And if he's living in it, he's given up his apartment. So that's a lot. And why? Because you promise you're going to fix it. That's another contract. And then you never fix it. It doesn't get fixed. You were in over your head. This was something you guys shouldn't have done. I'm ordering the defendant to pay the plaintiff the sum of $3,900. That's what you paid for the van. That's my judgment. Good luck, folks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So the plaintiff prevails here in the People's Court. Mr. Zide, you know, you came into court claiming to be a good Samaritan, and the judge said, no way, you're not a good Samaritan here.
No, I'm not. I guess not.
How do you feel what she had to say to you?
I thought she was wrong.
Think it's the case your car you should never have taken in?
I didn't.
Yes or no?
No.
No. Okay, well, you learned something.
Yes, I sure did.
Officer McIntosh has a few documents you must sign. Now Mr. Liss is on his way out of the courtroom. You know, you went through a lot with this car. Where is the car right now? What's the story?
It's in my friend's driveway.
Runnable?
No.
Still not working.
Doesn't run, but it's a wonderful car for my daughter when she turns 16, and we're looking forward to getting it fixed for her. We thank the judge, and we thank People's Court.
Okay, good luck with it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Maybe you're the one who needs good luck with it. Yeah. Okay? All righty. Thank you so much. Harvey, your turn.
Even if there isn't a warranty, the work has to be acceptable or else the consumer wins.